Good morning.
Sound of our teen sports listeners, I'm your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome. What a beautiful day today on Teen Sports Radio, the show that inspires Santa Barbara with stories of strength, guidance, and the life lessons sports teaches all. I'm your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. And today, we're going to shine our light on our community leaders as we have today, our guests, okay? They're going to bring on the wisdom, the mentorship, and the tools for success. From building confidence to making smart choices, this is where teens and families get the tips they need to win on and off the field. Because here at Teen Sports Radio, it's not just about the game. It's about the community that shares us on the lifts and lifts us higher and higher and higher. Let's get started. In the house, we have Dominique Hackett. How you doing, Dee?
Good morning.
All right, Alex Ramirez, Fit for Life, 805. Hey, Alex.
Good morning.
You, Kristine Marie, a view from the deck. Look above, baby.
Good morning.
Shine that light. Okay, Emily, our songbird. You're just in. How you doing, Em?
I'm doing fantastic. So
I'm so excited when this crew steps up and wants to participate because it's gone deeper. Okay, the show has gone organic in different directions. I love it. Let's do this. We want to give a shout.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out. Can I do that real quick?
Sure.
A community shout out. Okay, I've actually two quick shout outs. One, thank you to our newspaper provider. We still have people who are delivering newspapers around town. And we happen to get the Epoch Times.
Uh-oh, that's a tell. Careful now.
But I really, really appreciate that. So if you are one of those that are still getting a newspaper delivered to your house, give your newspaper person some love. That's number one. And then number two, I want to tell you, Chaucer's Bookstore. If you like to read, the New York Times or the Washington Post, some really great newspaper like the weekend edition, you can go to our local bookstore, Chaucer's, and pick up a copy on the weekend.
Nice. Good one. I love it. I love just providing
community.
It's just to everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's really nice. Locally, it's super, super nice. Em, who do you want to give a shout to?
I would love to give a shout to Shikari at Mountain and Sea Dental. I had to go in for my dentist cleaning this week, and I get so nervous. I don't know about you, but going to the dentist, and she was so compassionate and kind and encouraging and supportive. So thank you, Shikari at Mountain and Sea Dental.
Where's that located?
It's off of State Street off of State Street, like right north towards Santa Barbara as you're going right in there. There's a whole complex of dental offices, but I would highly recommend her. She is so supportive and encouraging, and we all have to get our teeth clean.
Yeah, it's really important for kids too. Maybe we'll do a segment on teeth cleaning for our teens. It's really important.
It is huge.
Those skills, it's just huge.
Yes, it really is. Yes.
It's super nice. Okie dokie. Alex, who do you want to give some love to?
I second Chaucer because I get all my paperback books, health, fitness, training. They're great. That's where I always go there. But Brioche, right around the corner from where I live, they have this amazing loaded avocado toast.
Oh, yeah.
Their bread is freshly made in-house. It's one of the best in town if you're looking for fresh bread. But that salmon avocado toast on a multi-grain bread, delicious. It melts in your mouth.
Yeah, you're my foodie, okay? Anytime you talk about something, I guarantee you I eat it that day, okay? You should just describe food, okay, as your backup hack, okay? I'm just saying. Kristine Marie, what do you want to do?
Well, I want to give a shout out to the public library. I've been checking out books again. It's been a while, but I think that it's such a nice thing. And in fact, it made me think, you used to be able to look at newspapers at the library. I don't know if you still can. I don't know if you know, Dominique, but I've been checking out books, and it's, we have a nice little public library. It's quite lovely. So I'm going to shout out to the library.
And the periodical section where you can read newspapers and magazines is downstairs.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. You know what I did this week? We have people that help us, when you getting up there, hitting that sixth decade. But we've had the same people around us for like upwards of 20 years. And I actually made a special, got up early, like when my landscapers were here and everything. And I went up to every one of them, gave them a little bit of extra, and gave him a big hug and say, I just really, really, really appreciate you. I just need you to know that, because sometimes, you're gone by the time I get back and I don't see you. And I just need you to know how amazing you've kept everything up. And I just really, especially right now, we're in between,
in between gardens.
Yeah,
Time to get rid of the summer garden and get ready for the fall garden.
So it's a little bit extra work, and we have a lot of chickens in the back and whatnot. So yeah, I did that. Then I had this other handyman guy, same kind of thing. When things start needing to be fixed, same kind of do. But when you stop and you actually looked into somebody's eyes and say, I just need you to know, honestly, you have made this life experience so much better because of our friendship and all. He's the Les, who is going to be here for the next couple of days.
Our handyman.
He's a master, and
master
he's fair, and he's semi-retired, and he's reasonable, and he's just a joy to be around. And I always say the same thing to people. It's kind of like I'm at the train station going into the mountains. We're at the last leg, and it's like, who do you want to be? The train with you, right? Because there's only so many seats, as they say. And you know what I'm talking about. Alex, we're all on the same page.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And the power of looking into somebody's eyes. It's not just the appreciation, but I see you, right? I see you. And it's a beautiful gift.
That reminds me of when I lived in Zululand. What you would say to people when you pass them was "Sawubona," which means "I see you." You never pass somebody without saying "Sawubona," which was hello. And then there was always a little. It makes such a huge difference. And so many people don't do that these days. They put on their headphones and their sunglasses, and they don't want to look and see, because it can be a little awkward. But the more we do it, the better it feels. It just feels good not only to see, but to be seen.
Absolutely.
Don't you get lit up when somebody stops and takes that second? It's 5 seconds, just to stop and say, "Hey, I need to share something with you," and just hit them.
I remember when I was on a trek in Nepal, and people would literally walk past you. They would put down all of their things and they would namaste, which is the same thing. I see the light in you. And I was blown away that was the priority, was stopping and greeting you. They put down, their big head things, and I see you. So yes, absolutely beautiful.
Maybe they were just tired. He's exhausted. Well, if I'm climbing up a big hill.
Yeah, but
it's true. It's so true. I have to say that, when I go on a walk, and if someone doesn't say good morning to me, I'm almost offended. I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. You're too busy to look up, and this is bright and early, before anyone else is really out on the sidewalk. 3 seconds. How long does it take to say good morning? And it really does make that positive impact on your body, on your mind, and you feel better. And I saw someone, he was just looking at his phone, didn't even look up, didn't even acknowledge. I'm like, oh, that's where we're at today, where we just don't acknowledge people anymore.
Oh my God. Yeah, I think people are really uncomfortable. They're used to being in their screens. And I a couple of years ago, even before COVID, I used to be like, hello, you're walking, there's a person here. Hi, how are you? Having a good day? And they're like, oh no. So it's interesting because people just aren't used to it. And one of the reasons when I first moved to Santa Barbara was because I felt so welcomed here. I didn't even know anybody. This was 30 years ago, and I would be walking down the street or about to cross the street, and someone would say, "Hi, how are you today?" I'm like, "Wow, I'm fine. How are you?" It felt so welcoming and so good, and we've lost it. Yeah.
Yeah, the old Santa Barbara, I don't know if people can remember this. We used to have Hollywood actors walking State Street, and you would just leave them alone. You'd smile, but then you wouldn't go up to them for an autograph or anything, because we kind of like protected our famous people. Now it's kind of really changed. But there's one thing that I do when someone doesn't offer me a hello when I've offered a hello, that tells me, hey, I'm hoping that their guides realize here's a blessing here, and I hope, surround them with love.
Another thing is real fast because we're going to go, Dominique, you're going to start us off show today. But when parents are walking around with their kids, it's important that, you mentor your kids and you go out of your way and say, hey, I was the conversationalist.
Right.
My kids are both very talky because, I say hello to everybody. I don't need to know you. Just say good morning. Have a nice day. Blah, blah, blah. So parents, use this as a teaching opportunity. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Woo! Let's fill up with coffee. We got Dominique Hackett right after these messages.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Hello, Teen Sports Radio family. This is Dominique here, president of Santa Barbara Wellness Center, and I am your weekly whisperer of wisdom. Now today, I'm not going to talk about basketballs or breakfast smoothies. I'm not talking about hydration or hamstrings. Today, I'm talking about Jane Austen. That's right. Teen scholars, this is your time. Lean in. Athletes, take a knee. Because the story of Jane Austen is not just for your English teacher, it's for you. She was born in 1775. That's over 200 years ago. Way before TikTok, before sports drinks, before women could even own property in most places. Jane Austen was a literary ninja, a revolutionary with a pen, but she didn't carry it like a sword. She wielded it like a whisper. Quiet, steady, brilliant. Now, here's the thing. Jane wasn't famous while she was alive. She didn't have a writing cabin or podcast studio or even her own room most of the time. She lived in a house that was busy. People coming and going, random visitors, chores, noise, dishes clanking, the whole vibe. Sound familiar? Yeah, because just like you, Jane Austen lived in interruptions. And yet, this woman wrote masterpieces. She created something the world has never seen before. Not just stories of love and marriage, but of a completely new way of writing, something that is now called free indirect discourse. Let me break that down. Imagine you're reading a story, but you can't quite tell when the narrator stops talking and the character starts thinking. It kind of blurs. It flows. It's so smooth, you don't even notice the handoff. Like a perfect alley-up in a basketball game. You don't know who made the magic, the narrator or the character. That's what Jane Austen invented. That's her literary crossover move. And she did it with, get this, scraps of paper on a side table in between boiling potatoes and folding laundry. I mean, Charles Dickens, he had a writing schedule. Beethoven, for composing, he had an intense routine and periods of silence. But Jane, she had to hide her pages when guests arrived so no one would know what she was writing. She'd slide her ink and paper under a placemat like it was contraband. Her genius was stealth mode. Some days she got maybe 5 minutes to herself and some days 10, but she kept showing up a little bit at a time. So here's what I want you to hear today, my beautiful, brilliant teens. You don't need perfect conditions to be extraordinary. In fact, the greatness might be in how you persevere through the imperfect. If Jane Austen waited for silence, we wouldn't have Pride and Prejudice. If she waited until the house was quiet, we wouldn't have had Emma or Sense and Sensibility. She wrote around the noise, through the interruptions, despite the chaos. And you can too. So whether you're living with siblings who are always taking your charger, or you've got a house with 3 dogs, 2 cousins, and parents who want to know what you're doing every 5 minutes. Don't wait for the silence. Start writing. Start telling your story. Write it on note apps, on the bus, on the back of your homework, or on tiny scraps of paper you hide under your algebra book. And don't worry, I won't tell, because we need your voice. We need your version of the world, the way you see injustice, the way you see beauty, the way you've survived, and the way you're growing. The world needs more writers, not just good grammar writers, not just Ivy League essay writers. I'm talking about authentic, bold, awkward, honest, funny, real teen writers. Writers who say what they mean and don't wait for the world to give them a stage. Jane Austen didn't wait. She whispered her way into literary history. And you've got a voice the world has never heard before. It's not about the perfect laptop or the perfect time or the perfect vibe. It's about showing up with all your flaws, with all your genius, and daring to say, this is what I see, this is what I feel, and this is my world, and I'm going to write it. Jane Austen gave us quiet genius, and now you give us your genius, whatever it sounds like. And if you need to hide under a napkin for now, go ahead. Just don't stop writing. You got this.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Hey, Teen Sports Radio listeners, this is Alex Ramirez with Fit for Life 805. And teens, today I'm talking to you about your spine, your body. As you get back into school and we're carrying all these books that are pretty heavy, collectively they add up and they put some weight on your body. And so for some of you who don't have a backpack, you're struggling and you're going to have to carry everything with your hands. And so that can offset your body a little bit. It can throw off your hips. Your spine does have a curve into your neck, right? You have 2 pretty big curves, almost like a shape of an S. And you have this lower lumbar curve where we tend to have a lot of back pain. Most of us are feeling back pain. I got a teen who's back in school that I work with, and she's complaining about her back. She has a backpack, and that's what I've recommended for her. But the challenge is she likes to let that backpack sag and hang all the way down to her bum. And every time she walks, it kind of smacks her in the bum. And it's kind of funny to see these kids walking around and getting that little butt hit every time he walks. So it's throwing off your hips. It's throwing off your spine. Get that backpack up. Cinch it up. Get it tight. Lift it up above your bum. And try to get it a little flat against your back as best as you can. And you have to think about your posture, your core. Tighten up your stomach a little bit. This is a nice way for you to get ab work without actually doing any kind of ab training. Suck in your tummy, belly button to spine, tighten it up, hold it there. It doesn't need to be super tight like you're holding a plank, but tight enough where you draw in the navel, right? You belly button to spine, you're bringing it in. That should help support your lower lumbar a little bit and give you some support. Walk tall. You might have to lean a little forward. It may not look the coolest, but, functionally, it's good for your spine. Another little added tip is you can place your hands right inside those straps and then really pull it in tight against your shoulders, your upper back. And it almost feels like a vest, a little weighted vest. And that's just kind of a nice way to give your back a break. You don't need to do that for very long, just enough to give your body a little break. Once your arms get tired, you are all done. But kids that carry books, around without a backpack, you're going to struggle all year. I highly recommend getting a backpack. And, just keep your abs tight and walk around. Mind your posture. By summertime, you'll have a 6-pack if you're minding your diet and nutrition too, for sure.
What do you think about rolling backpacks? Are there, if kids have way too many books they have to carry around?
Oh, and they're dragging like the backpack behind them, almost like luggage, right? Yeah. It depends, how far they have to travel with that. If it's short distance and they're able to manage it, eventually over time, you're going to have to deal with that overuse of reaching behind your body, contorting your spine backwards a little bit as you're carrying it behind you or right next to your side. you might have to do both sides, like both arms, to kind of even out. So, yeah, I mean, if it works, if you can manage it, and you might still need a backpack plus that. Who knows? Whatever's best for your body. But I think if you can just be mindful of your core and your posture, that should help out. Absolutely.
It's amazing to me how many little things we have to think about with our bodies, right?
I know.
Absolutely. Yeah. I remember years ago when I first started music teaching, I had so many books in my bag, and I had my guitar on my left side, my bag on my left side, and I totally threw out my bag. And so I think when you're not conscious of how you move, and the other thing that I would say is I just did my certification for yoga. And so, and right now I'm even laying down, but you can do these wonderful back bends, like cobra pose, which is super fun. And so you just lay on your belly and you inhale as you inhale, and you just keep your spine really nice and straight and your shoulders down. And you can stretch out that spine. And these little spinal exercises every day will help with that. There's 3 of them that I would recommend. So, spinal health is super important and also a sign of longevity too. So stretch your spine every day.
Nice. That's why I love it when we have Sky Ellsworth and Sonia Ellsworth, our chiropractic students, and I just think this has been just such an amazing the information that he's giving us is just amazing as far as the spine and the importance of it. It's the freeway to your whole body as far as your nervous system goes, which is I've learned so much from his pieces.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add real quick, people like Alex who are trainers and coaches, I want to encourage teens, say something. So many times as a teen, I felt little aches and pains in my body, and I didn't think to ask anyone, but my parents set up so that we would go once a month into a chiropractor and just have a conversation. And that was super, super helpful. But I want to encourage teens, make use of your coaches, make use of your personal trainers, and say something when you feel a little ache somewhere. People like Alex can be a huge help for making sure that your spine and your whole body continues to blossom in the healthiest way possible.
You definitely want to trust me. Okay. You want to listen to your body. Okay.
Yeah. Don't just suck it up and power through the pain. Talk.
That's right, Alex. Don't suck it up. Exactly. Even if you process pain a little different than other people, maybe you don't feel pain like everybody else. Bottom line, energetically, is if you feel knocked down a little bit, that's also a warning sign. Yeah. Okay. If you're lethargic or you're tired for some, and you got to identify, you need to run in, whether chiropractor, acupuncture, Western medicine, whatever fits your
yoga instructor,
whatever. Trainer, talk to somebody. It's very important to talk to somebody.
Yes.
Yes, 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 and yes. I love it.
And can I also pass on one other thing? If you've got a really big, heavy chemistry book, you can ask the teacher, hey, can I keep a copy in the classroom and a copy at home?
Right.
That's always a possibility.
I always wondered. I mean, I didn't even know kids use. I mean, from what I've seen out there, with other countries and stuff that I tap into, I mean, they even still have books, right? I mean, I figured everything would be online right now. Like you would just do everything off of a tablet. No.
What are you seeing? Is everybody using iPads now, or we still have textbooks?
With the kiddos, it's right now a little bit of combination of both, but mostly books still.
Oh, okay.
And actually, books are better for your brain.
I get that. I'm not saying, but I already know you'd have one of those rolling that goes 360,
Oh, yes.
That's you. You put your
backpack.
You would have a rolling backpack.
I think some of the classrooms are different too. You might have like a math class that's differently operated than some kind of like gate class that, is doing some kind of social science like physics or chemistry where there's a lot of demonstration. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Right. Gotcha.
Exactly.
I got you. Oh, that was amazing. Thank you, Alex. Next up, he's waving. Let's everybody wave back. Hi, Sky. We've got Sky Ellsworth right after these messages.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome back to Teen Sports Radio, everyone. This is Sky Ellsworth, and I'm a student at Life Chiropractic College West. And I am so excited to be with you today, as I am every week, because it is such a joy to be able to spread everything that I'm learning to other people who might be able to take something from it and apply it to their own lives, and especially teens, because you're the future and you're such an amazing group of people. It seems like every generation is somehow a little bit smarter and wiser than the last. And you guys are starting to figure things out. There's a new age upon us, and things are shifting. Energy is shifting, and it's so important that we figure out how to keep up with it, and that we can adapt. And that's what this is all about. Everything that I talk about at the end of the day is a way to adapt. So last week we talked about one of these really interesting dichotomies of the wounded healer. And that being one of these classic archetypes that a lot of people can fall into. And I would go so far as to say that everybody falls into it at one point or another in their lives. And depending on our background, some of us, spend our whole lives with it until we really learn to recognize what it is and what it's coming from, and shift our energy state around it. So today I wanted to continue to explore some of these archetypes that society has, because they create a field, a cultural field that we fit into, and we kind of box ourselves in and get away from what's real, which is the soul field, who we really are and what our purpose is and what we're meant to be. And we can get distracted, and some things can overshadow that. So let's talk about one of these archetypes, because the more that we're aware of what the archetypes are, when we bring attention to it, we can start to see when it comes up in our own lives and choose something else, choose something better. So the archetype that I want to talk about today is the hero and the villain. And it's one of those interesting things, because the cultural field says that we want to be the hero. Think about it, from Disney movies to Marvel comics, or whatever it is. The cultural field has it set up that heroes are a good thing. And the idea of a hero in and of itself is great. We love the idea of someone coming in to save the day. But there are two parts to this. One part is that we really need to recognize that we can't be displacing the idea of the hero onto someone else. The minute we make someone a hero or put someone up on the pedestal is the minute eventually they'll come crashing down. And we come crashing down with them, and we have to start to see things from a whole new perspective. So that's one part of it. The other part is that oftentimes, because of what we see on TV, or how people talk to us, or how society is set up, like think about doctors are even chiropractors. It's not specific. Will be touted as a hero. And the thing is anytime you yourself try to become a hero, you will eventually be cast as the villain. And it's a hard thing to wrap your mind around, but the minute you try to be the one who can save someone, you can heal someone, be the perfect partner for someone. The minute that you try to put yourself on the pedestal is the minute you set yourself up to be seen by that person or other people eventually as the victim. So how do we work this out? How can we get past this? And the answer is to recognize that there is neither a hero or a villain, but there is a higher power. There is something else, whatever you want to call that, whether you want to call it, in chiropractic, we call it universal intelligence or innate intelligence. Some people call it God or spirit or whatever it is that you want to call it. Those invisible forces that are at work, that are guiding everything that's happening. Whatever those forces are, they are the forces that are in control. They're running through us at all times. They're running through our body. They're running through life. How is it that the wind knows when to blow, that a tree knows exactly the season to grow in, that we know exactly when to inhale and exhale, and we don't have to think about it? What intelligence is guiding all of these things so that everything is working in perfect harmony? That organizing intelligence, once the expression of that is liberated, everything is perfect. Everything is going, or imperfect, however you want to look at it, but everything is happening exactly the way it's supposed to. The minute we try to be that, the minute we eat from the tree of knowledge, is the minute we start to have a problem. That's the minute that we start to cast ourselves as the hero, and we try to be the one to solve someone else's problems. I'm so good at this. I will be the one to teach you this, and nobody else can do it. I am the perfect partner for you, and nobody else is. Just me. I'm going to save you. I'm going to save you from that awful situation you were in. I'm going to save you financially. I'm going to save your health. I'm the one in control. I'm the hero. The minute that you say that is the minute you set yourself up to be cast as the villain. And I know I just repeated that, but really let that sink in. And I'm saying this in a serious tone because it's such an important thing to understand, because the minute that you recognize that you're not enough, and that you're never going to be enough, no matter what you do, you'll save yourself endless suffering, for starters. The earlier you can recognize that, the better. The minute you can recognize that, and that something else is enough, that other force is the minute that things start to happen magically. The minute that you set yourself up to be a servant of that higher order intelligence is the minute that you start to see success. Success in school, success in your sports games, success in with your business, success with your romantic partner. Whatever it is, the minute that you allow that other force to move through you, and you allow yourself to be a servant of that, to be guided by that, is the minute you can step outside of that hero-villain dichotomy, and you can be who you were always meant to be. But you're never going to feel like you're enough, ever. It's not going to happen. You're not going to feel like you're enough in school. It's always going to seem like there's someone better than you. You'll never feel like you're enough in a relationship. Good. You're not. You'll never feel like you're enough in a sports game that you play. There will always be someone better. You'll never feel like you're enough when you start your first job, when you're in college, when you're taking a test. You'll never feel like you're enough in whatever role you play, because you're not. Something else is. You have to shatter that part of your ego. It's really, really important, because that's how you let the magic in. That's how magic can happen. That's how you can serve others and serve humanity. There's an illusion that we all have where we think that we're all separate. And you can listen way back on Teen Sports Radio recordings, and I talk about how every single person is you pushed outwards on the screen of space in a holographic reality, that you're the one that is guiding everything. You are. You absolutely are. And you have to understand that, because when you understand that every single person is connected, you can understand what every single person is connected by. When you understand what every single person is connected by, you can let go, you can surrender to that force, and you can allow yourself to become who you were always meant to be. But the ego, the brain, will always get in the way and try and override that. It always will, because the ego is trying to keep you safe, and it's trying to tell you that you are enough, you are enough, you are good enough. Parents tell you that. My parents told me that. But the minute that I accepted that I wasn't enough and that something else was the minute that all the pressure went away. I was just free to be. I didn't have to be good enough. I didn't have to be anyone special, because I already was. I was just being. I am just being. I am, therefore I am. All right. That's it. I don't mean to leave you all on a heavy note, but it's time to let your life shine. It's time to be the light. And it's time to let that light in. All right. Have a great week, everyone.
Outstanding. I love it. All right, let's go. Let's fill up your coffee. We'll be back with more after these messages. We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome back. This is Kristine Marie with a view from the deck. And just looking up in the sky right now, I have to say it's September 2nd, and the sun is in Virgo, and the moon is waxing, which means it's getting bigger, and it's in Capricorn. Now, my personal moon is in Capricorn, so I think I feel comfortable with that, although the moon's most comfortable place is not in Capricorn. One of the moon's most comfortable places is either in Cancer or Pisces, and we're going to have a full moon on September 7th, which is why this moon is waxing. And it's going to be in Pisces, and there's going to be an eclipse, I think, in Africa. Like, we won't see it from here, but the full moon eclipse, which it'll make it into a red moon, actually, will be in other places of the world. But so this is, and that will be in Pisces, where the moon feels most comfortable. Pisces is a water sign, and the moon, I think one of the things that the moon does for me more than any other planet is it proves to me that the planets have some sort of effect on us here in the world, because it really does. The moon moves, the tides move with the moon. So to me, that's proof. And also full moons and new moons. I think I've had enough friends who've worked in hospitals and whatnot to know that during full moons, the hospitals are busier. There's a lot going on out there.
Nice. You said you brought up a couple of things today, especially with where the moon is at right now. It actually falls right into place with what your thoughts were for today.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Kristine Marie. I'm just so grateful. Sky's talk and also Dominique's talk about Jane Austen and the hero and the villain is, to me, is kind of this reminder that being who we are, knowing that we are enough, and recognizing that there is heroic potential within all of us. And so, as you are showing up every morning and looking to the sun, and every night you go, to sleep as the moon rises, right? There's these circadian rhythms. And with that energy, like Sky was talking about, we are a part of all of this energy, and this energy animates us. And so when we are able to get in touch and listen, as Jane Austen did, to that still small voice inside, and begin to write your truth, write your stories, express who you truly are, you will find yourself embodying more and more of the truth of who you are. And so, Sky talked about the hero and the villain, and that we're really neither of those. We're more the soul, but sometimes tapping into those energies and integrating them more fully into who we are can be a heroic or adventurous journey. And you have that opportunity every day as you show up for your life, the gift of your life, and you show up for all the challenges and gifts that presents.
Nice. Kristine, I know you want to follow up on that.
Yeah, I was just thinking, it's a really wonderful perspective, that idea that, we're all so individual. I think about, it took all these ancestors for us to come, we each have different ancestors and we each have different genetic makeup, and we're the end product of all like the wishes and the hopes and the dreams, the fulfillment of all of our ancestors. We're moving our ancestral genetic makeup forward. And it took a lot of people to make us be this one person, each one of us, this one powerful, amazing individual who sees the world in the way that we see the world. It's all different. And so it's so important to really to honor how we see the world, and to share that with others, and to share our voices. It's beautiful. If Jane Austen hadn't done what she did, we actually, there's so many movies. I mean, Clueless is based on Jane Austen. Do you know what I mean? On one of her books, and so many of our modern films, and that there's just so much going on, and how we're able to express ourselves, and also, reinvent the expressions of other people. See, it's how we see things. I just think it's an amazing thing that each one of us, I think, Erica, you say this all the time, be you, everyone else is taken. And that's true. It's so important for us to be who we are here to be, because there was a lot went into getting us here.
Nice.
That is so beautiful. And Kristine, I love that we try to point out to the teens what's happening up in the heavens, because that gives us an opportunity to pause, disconnect from the screens, and reconnect to ourselves. That's what I use my sky gazing and my moon gazing and my sun gazing for, is to actually reconnect to myself.
You're really good at that. Alex, we're wrapping up. You got anything you want to add to the pile, baby?
Just a quick, be the hero of your own story, kids. Don't be scared. Go out there.
Nice. This has been great. We thank you. We thank KCSB AM 1290. We're on also FM 96.9 since 2010, focusing on our kids and helping our parents guide this generation. It's a little different. And I appreciate all the mentors that, contribute every week on the show. Thanks for tuning into Teen Sports Radio, where we celebrate the athletes, the leaders, and the lessons that last a lifetime. I'm your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen, reminding you to stay strong, stay inspired, and always, always remember, you be you, teens, because everybody else is taken. We'll see you next time. God bless.